Ah, so that's where you've been hiding. I've been looking for you. Come on, I've got something to show you.
Wake up in the morning, it's a brand new day. Need to grab those keys and fire away. Hit that ignition, turbo whistle, and head down the track and don't look back. We're headed bush down into the scrub, out onto the beach where we're out in the sun. It doesn't get much better, it can't get much better than this. Welcome to Aura 4x4. Welcome to Aura 4x4. They say every dirt road leads to water, but what it really means is there's adventure around the corner. Down in the valleys of the steepest alpine hills, are roaming across the desert. It's the heart of the thrills. This is way off-road adventures. Welcome to Aura 4x4.
Now isn't this a nice little lovely part of the world? I'm down here at Lake Bonney, which is probably 10k south of Millicent, thereabouts. And this lake used to be used for a lot of recreational water sports and stuff like that. But then closed its doors more or less around 1983, I believe it was, when Ash Wednesday happened. They dumped a whole lot of logs and stuff in the lake and basically stopped people from coming out here safely in doing it, all their water sports and stuff. But yeah, there she is. I know they still got a shooting club out here somewhere that do shooting clays and things, but yeah, not a bad little place of the world to come and check out. I'll leave a little what 3 words down here, so if you're ever out this way, come check it out. Not bad, nice and peaceful. So today, as I mentioned, I'd like you to formally meet someone. And I think it's about time I introduce you properly to the Subaru. So, this is my 2007 Subaru Forester, 2.5 litre turbocharged, or XT. Some people prefer XT, but it's turbo. Not a bad little bus. It's got way too much power than what it needs, but it's certainly handy to have. And it's got a lot of little goodies on it that I reckon you might be interested in. So, let's get started, shall we? So, let's start at the heart, shall we? This right here is a 2.5 litre EJ DET. Also known as a EJ255 as far as I know. Now this particular motor here is a dual overhead cam motor. Well, it is a flat motor. If you're not familiar with Subarus, it can get a little bit confusing because the banks, they run horizontally opposed, so you've got 2 camshafts and everything as per like as a standard motor. So these are a dual motor, a dual cam motor, which means I've got 4 camshafts. If that makes sense. Dual overhead cam, which is 4 camshafts, and the standard motors are just a single overhead cam, which has got 2 camshafts, all because they're horizontally opposed. Good fun. Now that I've hurt your brain with that, we can get into some other stuff. Up the front here, you can probably see that nice little silver shiny piece. That is a secondary transmission cooler. Of course, I think someone else has put one in here, so actually it's running 2. That's the one that I put in, a nice big one, and it's got one in behind it. I don't know whether it's very efficient in that sort of setup, but it works. Transmission temperatures are down to about 65 degrees, which I think is quite nice. I want to keep it much below 100, so that is good. Got to look after the trans. And of course, this little motor has had a lot of little upgrades since I bought it. So, well, before I bought it, it had a gasket kit put in it. The engine's been a basic refurb, so that's good. Mitsimoto radiator and a few other little bits and pieces like the, I'm pretty sure that's WRX or STI intercooler, but I'm not too sure. It's definitely bigger than the factory one, which I've got home in the box. So that's good. As far as wiring and stuff goes and battery works, I've got a little isolator down here, which will run to my second battery. So that I can turn that on and off as I please, and it will charge the second battery. Or not charge the second battery, depending if I'm parked or not. My plan is to run a fridge, so that'll be handy when I pull up to camp, hit the isolator, no worries. That also, we'll get to that in a minute, also runs air compressor. Very handy. Also been hard at work and installed myself, I don't know whether you can see it, a turbo bracket, because when I got the car, apparently it didn't have any. And just down there, that little yellow dipstick, that is for your front differential. You can check the oil in your front diff. How handy is that? If we come around the other side here, it has a afterthought washer bottle for your windows, mainly because these cars have your washer bottle inside the arch here, and when you lift them and muck around, this is obviously done by the previous owner, that all gets in the way. So that's all been removed. So if you feast your eyes down in here somewhere, it is a little bit tricky. I'm sure the light is wrong. Down here somewhere, there's a yellow dipstick for the transmission, so that's where you check all your transmission fluids. It is a little bit awkward, but it is there. Oh, there she is. That's her. That's her right there. Can I pull it? Yeah, there we go. Looking good. Now this car's also got a front and rear strut brace. It runs across the front and the back, 2 strut towers. That was also done by the previous owner, so I didn't do that. The reason I bought this car is because it was a fantastic platform for me to start modifying and, well, off-roading and shooting these videos. So there she is. Absolutely beautiful little, well, platform, and we're getting there. She's very happy with how it's going. Now, moving around to the side of the car, we've got a snorkel. You don't generally see these on Subarus. So, this snorkel here was put on by the previous owner. I'm not sure where it come from, but quite commonly they usually come off Mitsubishis or Pajeros or stuff like that. And from what I know, you heat them right here, because they're not a perfect match, but you heat them right here and you bend them to suit your, well, your application basically. And that's obviously been done here, and it's worked out very well. Very nice little job, nice neat job that they've done, and they've also siliconed along there. Looks very professional. Whether that silicon's going to be harmed later on for rust and stuff, I guess we'll find out. Jumping down here, we'll have a look at the tyres and suspension now. Up under here, we'll start with the struts. We have, from the previous owner, a set of King springs. So these are heavy duty springs. They're a heck of a lot better than over the standard ones because they improve the ride and the stiffness. Overall, I'd highly recommend these springs to anyone upgrading their Subaru. They carry a lot more weight and they're just overall better. Moving down to the tyres, these are my choice for a little Subaru. I wanted to get the rugged terrains, but unfortunately they didn't have any at the time. So these are the Salin Terramax All-Terrains. They're a size 235/75/15, and they're on a set of dynamic steel 0 offset rims for those guys that you want to know. And they fit perfectly with the big brake upgrade, which you get off, I'm pretty sure, WRX STIs, the 4-pot calipers. All I had to do was grab the file and nick the edges off just a little bit, and they fit perfectly. So no issues there. And well, you guys have seen where I've taken the bus so far, so that's held up really well. Back around to the left-hand side of the vehicle now, you can see my massive rocket launcher up the top here, which is a Explorer awning from Autobahn. I originally had this on the Hilux, but that kind of tore off, so now it's living on the Subaru. That's going to come in handy when we start doing some camping. At least I've got a roof over my head. Now, I suppose we'll move down and check out the other part of the lift kit and suspension and other things. Now, as all of you guys are probably wondering, yes, this car has been substantially lifted. Completely overkill for what I do, but I thought, why not? Let's do it anyway. I've always wanted to do it, so why not? A thank you to Matt from over at Subi Lift Oz for building me this lift kit. These are made to order pretty well. It is a 2-inch subframe drop, or if you're not familiar with Subarus, it's effectively a 2-inch body lift and a 3-inch suspension lift. But if you're more familiar with Subarus, it's a 5-inch lift in the back and a 4.5 in the front. And what that consists of is a 2-inch subframe drop, and what does that work out to be? 3 inches in the back and 2.5 inches in the front over standard. So even though it looks fairly high and the CVs are probably Bluetooth, they're not quite. It's only roughly 3 inches over standard, or 2.5 in the front. There is one thing, however, this particular lift kit, they do recommend that you run a trans stiffener insert, which basically it's just like a little rubber thing that fits in the back of your transmission gearbox mount, and that stiffens it up, makes it a lot better for off-road. And just on the lift, I also thought I'd quickly mention that Subilift Oz also do the camber and caster offsets for your wheels, like your spacers. So it brings all your wheel alignment back into somewhat factory when you go and get it set up after your lift. So that is very handy, and you don't have to muck around with too much of your wheel alignment scrubbing or anything like that. It puts it back into standard factory sort of format, which is fantastic for what we do. A lot of you guys are probably curious about my rear bar setup. Now, this come with the car, like the front bar. I ended up putting it on, but yes, this bar, I don't know too much about it. It had a sticker on it which I then removed because it was all torn up and everything else. Check out garage7.com because that was a sticker on the bar. Other than that, I don't know too much about it. This tyre carrier, however, this is a eBay special. I think it was like $250. I did slightly modify it, cut the tow bar mount thing off, and yeah, bolted it directly to the bar. I also done my own dodgy welding and to support all that with a bit of 2x2 inch square. So it just connects the bottom to the top support frame in there and stops all the flexing on the tyre carrier. So that works very well. Very happy with that. Not bad for a cheap little setup. Moving into the back of the little Subaru, there's not much going on here until you lift up the floor. The whole reason for the tyre carrier is because of this. Now, the previous owner had a very similar setup in here, but I'm surprised I didn't burn the car down on the way home because the wires were shorting out on the on the body. That was fun. But under here, we've got my little 12-volt compressor setup. Very handy, hooked to a 6-litre air tank, which it's all modified and customised by yours truly. And just a little battery that I've got. It's a 60 amp hour deep cycle, so not very much, but it's just something that helps. Really good. And these here are little air vents, so that air compressor can breathe properly because it was getting way too hot in there. So I took care of it with these. Seems to work all right too. Under this flap in the corner here, I've got everything that I need. My tyre pump up thing with a valve on it. That comes from the air tank. I've also got a little 12 voltmeter, and of course my compressor switch. Works a treat. Not bad for a cheap little setup. This is just a basic look of what I carry. This is a full toolkit of every little bit and piece. This here is my recovery box, which usually belongs in the Hilux, but because this thing has a winch, it's got everything in there. Soft shackles, I've got 3 of these, pulley blocks, gloves, snatch straps, your blanket for your ropes and things like that under the load, and of course your recovery hitch. Things are a little bit damp in there, so I'm going to have to leave that box open to dry when I get home. Not ideal, but you know, I've got all the stuff there for recoveries when I need it. Moving on, this here is a sand anchor. Basically acts like a second four-wheel drive. If you guys want to know a little bit more about that, I'm more than happy to do a separate video on how that works. Very handy. Oil, which, yes, I run Shell in this car. Just personal preference, really. I had good experiences with Shell. In here, custom-made little bag, and that is just my air hose. So, very good. Very handy. Excuse the mess, I haven't quite cleaned it yet after the fun we had the other day. So this Subaru, I've fitted it up with a fire extinguisher. I think the previous owner had one there, but I ended up putting one back in it because it was missing. So over here I've got my engine guard unit, which this is the brains of all my temperature control. I've got this sensor on cylinder 4, which is the hottest part of the motor. I'm pretty sure that the other motors would be very, very similar. It's got a cooling mod to help, but I'm just monitoring it with that. It's a live feed, so it's very handy. I don't trust any of the other temperature gauges. I've also got the second sensor on the transmission next to the oil pan, so I can keep an eye on the oil temperature. How these engine guards work is that they just a ringlet eye bolt. You bolt it to the steel or anything that you want to measure the temperature of. I've got one in the Hilux which I measure the temperature of the thermostat housing, and it's pretty well bang on to the temperature of the coolant. So if anything goes wrong there, I will know. And it's got an alarm and everything built in. So if you guys are interested in getting an engine guard, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. It has saved my bacon multiple times, even in this car, because the transmission likes to run hot. They're not made for doing off-road, especially down the beach. And it's caught me off guard a few times and the buzzer's gone off. Oh no, I've hit 100 degrees. Slow down, take it easy, let it cool down. And there you go. So I highly recommend engine guard if you guys want to get out there and have a look at that one. She also has a little baby aerial. You don't need too much when you're off-road. You don't need anything substantial. Although, if I was going to go substantial, I wouldn't mind one of those great big black 4-inch pipes to go right up the front of the bus. No, you don't need anything too substantial. So this little donger right here, that'll do me just to talk to the odd person or two. Now it is actually quite hard to see, but it has a King's Dominator Extreme winch. Now I do believe this is the old type, which as far as I know they're a lot stronger than the new type, so that is good. And I didn't have it on video, but I know this winch works and it works very well. I wish I had footage of the recovery that we done, but yeah, all good. Works very well and it's hidden in there just nicely. Up in the captain's seat now. Over here in the corner we have my little boost gauge, which that's still sitting there temporarily. I've got to do something with that and tie it down, mount it properly, because originally when I got the car, I didn't think that worked. It turns out it was just a leaky boost line. So I fixed all that, it's working. I just got to fix it and install it properly. Up above my little boost gauge, I've got an OBD2 reader, digital. That goes into my OBD2 port, and it tells me all the live information from the computer. Very handy, and also tells me boost as well, so that's handy. So in the center console, here we go. As you guys may have noticed in some of the previous videos, I've got multiple switches and things here. This one here is just a 2-wheel drive switch. I can go from all-wheel drive to 2-wheel drive. This one here is my 4-wheel drive lock-up switch, so I can flick that and it will instantly send 12 volt to the transmission, which will then effectively lock it in 4-wheel drive. And I've got a little light there which tells me what the TCU is doing, whether it's applying power to the transmission or not. And if I do have any issues with my transmission, I can clear all the fault codes with this, a little OBD2 reader scanner thing. And yes, it does work. Don't ask me how I know. Down here I've also got a X80 Uniden radio. It's an old style one, but it's alright for the Subaru, coupled with that little aerial on the bonnet. And up here, this is very flash. So this here is a little Android unit that I got off the internet for about 200 bucks and installed it myself. The steering wheel buttons don't work anymore, but this thing is a well-worthy upgrade considering the old one was an old CD player. So it's all got all your Bluetooth connectivity and stuff like that on it, and Spotify's and videos and all that sort of stuff, Google Maps. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed watching this little rundown of the Subaru video. If you'd like to support us, head over to buymeacoffee.com/Wara4x4. That'll be greatly appreciated. Or if you want to check out our socials, jump over to Facebook. You can catch up with all the latest details over there. And if we're missing a video 1 or 2 days, then you get to find out what we're up to. Anywho, if I have missed anything in this video and you guys would like to know more about the Subaru, please comment down below what you'd like to see, and I'll get to it as soon as I can. So, I hope you guys have enjoyed the little rundown of the Subaru and have familiarised yourself with it a little bit more, which is fantastic. And with that, I think it's time to end. So, we'll see you guys in the next video. Ta-ta! My knob fell off. So now you have to use a screwdriver to lock this thing into place. You've got a little hole, and your pin goes in there like that. Whoops. And as you can see, it is very awkward. Oh dear. I'm on the ground now.